I'm Chasidy Hathorn, artist named Sassy Hat. I'm originally from a small town in Mississippi, but I currently live in Johnson City, Tennessee. Anytime artists get an opportunity to exhibit, especially in an area where they live, it becomes, I think, a little more stressful, but also a little more challenging. So I wanted to take the opportunity to show off some of my larger works and not just the tiny little pieces that people know me for, or my hearts and hats that people know me for. So I just went big with creation and, Himalayan salt, and collection 4.5 is nothing more than my favorites from collection 4 and my favorites from collection 5. And I just put them together in this beautiful, gorgeous space that was able to hold my large pieces. So it was just really kind of selfishly my favorites. I absolutely love doing large-scale pieces. Not murals, but I love the challenge of creating something as big as I possibly can. I'm only 5 feet tall. So, I don't know, I guess I like going big in that sense. But because I am kind of 5 feet tall, I enjoy creating these little tiny pieces. And I have this little movement that's called More Love. And I just go around handing out these tiny 2-inch by 2-inch hearts. Is how it started, so that people could pass them along. And then I got bored with just little 2-inch by 2 inches, and then I started painting notebooks and hats and t-shirts and just giving it all away. So I kind of became known as like the heart lady. But I don't know, I feel like that's kind of my calling. And you have to have something to do while large pieces are drying. And you have to keep something in your soul. So the More Love keeps me grounded in my roots and unconditional love and loving people and encouraging others to continue to spread it. And then, that passion spills over into my large scale because it's fuel, right? So the love fuels my soul, which then fuels the larger pieces, and then those pieces tell a story of just about anything, creation, salt, light. So, it all kind of works together, the tiny with the big, and each one sparks the other. I've always been a creator, so I don't really consider myself an artist because I just love to make things, create things. And I've always been that way as a child. So, from mud pies to building forts in the backyard to building sculptures with sticks and anything else you could find. And the path of education was international business and German. And I did that for a while, and I was a school teacher while my daughter was little. But in my heart, in my soul, I was a creator. I wanted to paint. I wanted to build things. And so as a stress relief from teaching, which is very, very stressful, I just kind of used, my projects, my art, my crafts, whatever I was doing as therapy. And then from that, I realized that really sparked my soul. And I took workshops in Mississippi, I took workshops in Alabama, I took workshops at the McKinney Center just to explore. Found out I was not a potter. But it was fun. Because I was like, it reminded me of that childhood spark of creating, so that when you touch that clay, that's like that feeling of making a mud pie. So no, I'm not formally educated. I just work on inspiration, whimsy, trial, error, so, and I think that's how we should do it. Just have fun with it. If it works, it works. I'm from Mississippi, so growing up, my family actually collected Walter A. Anderson, which is from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. So I grew up surrounded by art because it was just, it was everywhere, art fairs and people's homes. And so I love Walter Anderson. He's all over my house. I know this is so cliche, and I hate to be cliche. But I'm going to be honest with you, I am a huge fangirl of Picasso. I can remember seeing, I think it was like a Life magazine when I was a kid that they put him in. So this is it takes me back a while. But it was in my grandma's stack, and I saw this old man in his underwear just creating his pottery, and I thought, wow, what a life. I didn't understand who he was as a kid, but I thought, wow, he's just having fun. I love local and regional artists, like in each area that I've lived, because it captures the spirit of that area. And I don't think anybody else can capture an area like local, born here artists. So I would definitely say that I think all artists inspire me, all creators. Paul Riley is very emotional. My dad went to glory in October of 2023 after a little battle with Alzheimer's. And so my dad was my best friend. He still is, okay? My dad's spirit is everywhere. Everywhere I go, my dad is with me. Years ago, I just got started in art, and I entered a competition, little national jury competition out of Knoxville, and I was like, I'm never going to get in this. And they chose Paul Riley, this folksy, large-scale painting of my dad. And so I got him to sign it. He didn't want to sign it. Begged him, please, Dad, you got to sign this. So he signed it, Paul Riley, never knowing that he was going to lose his stories. When the dementia set in and the story started to fade and his speech, and he was singing silly songs, that painting became like my most prized treasure. My house catches on fire, Paul Riley's coming with me, okay? Flood waters, I don't care. I've got my dogs, I got Paul Riley, my husband's on his own. I just want people to know that those memories, those stories are never lost. We have to carry them. We have to continue the legacy of our family members that have gone on, no matter what they've passed on from. So I hope that Paul Riley and Wandering Away and Collection 42 could inspire people. Keep telling those stories, even if you cry. Okay? Even if you cry, don't stop telling the stories, even if you feel like your soul is just being ripped from you. But that's how we keep them going on. Journal it, write it, paint it, sculpt it, but never let those stories die. My process is messy. Okay, let's just be truthful. And I do some type of creating every day because it's just good for my soul. And whether that's journaling or playing around with paper or bubble wrap or, I try to do something more for therapy than it's my living. Like I have to. I just go in there and play. So I go in and it starts out as play or a fascination with something. Like Himalayan salt was a fascination with Himalayan salt. It's all over my house. I think it has this healing property. And so if you come to my house, I have little chunks of Himalayan salt everywhere. And so the more I thought about it, I'm like, I wonder what I can do with this. And so most of my out there is just, what can I do with this? What can I do with this packing paper that everything is shipped in? And so I began to play with it and realized I could sculpt it. And so with modeling paste and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, I learned how to start shaping it and creating it. And then you don't want it to be brown, right? And so then you start playing with, spray paint or metallic waxes. So I think my process is play. Curiosity, play, experimenting, failure, try again, failure. And eventually I get something that's beautiful, and I don't think that's my creation. I don't know if it's, divine inspiration, like God working through me. I don't know if it's like my dad just there with me, just have fun, be who you are. Because when I start trying to follow the rules, or I try, let me brainstorm, let me write this down, then it doesn't work. I define success on when someone gets it. Like they look at a painting and they're like drawn into it. Or when someone who's never really, experienced art, they see, one of my paintings for the first time and they're drawn in and they start asking me questions. Or someone tells me, like, I never thought about this as art. So when people get the story and they're drawn in, that's success. When a little kid, like, stands in front of your painting and is like, they want to touch it, and then you tell them they can touch it, and their mom's like, no, don't touch it. I'm like, it's meant to touch. And that child's face lighting up, shoot, you cannot put a dollar value on that. It's just like, wow. I would love to do, like, my dream project would be something where I can take art tells a story and we can be interactive and people get to become part of the story, where I would start a piece, like all large scale, of course, because space isn't a problem. And some of them would be hanging up and some of them would be on the floor. People could be messy, people could have, the opportunity to write a story, but then the next person could come in and paint over that story. I would come in and paint over that story. And we would just have this whole exhibition of storytelling where people just got to come and be creative and play. And so then the whole exhibition is nothing but a living story of play and creativity and no judgment. And I just kind of get to sit back too and have fun, where it's not about me. Like, I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about play and creation, and just to remind people, let that inner child have fun every now and again. Not because you're going to put it on Instagram. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something silly. So my exhibition would be silly. Even if I don't get to do it, I'll go, I'll participate, I'll be there. Please invite me. I will be upset if I don't get invited to the little seed that I plan. I'm like, man, nobody invited me to. I would be. That would be disappointing. Come see Collection 4.5 and experience just play and fun. Come to the McKinney Center Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and I am on exhibit through August 15th. So come out, experience the story, and then let me know what you think.